How's it going, people? Sam here, and this is your guide for the 100% completion of Three's Company Fremmy Saga. Good times, let's get started. So, start requirements. You need to have found a bear skin within a normal dungeoneering floor. If you don't have one yet, you can find it between floors 1 and 11 on a complexity level of 2 or above. Also, to do this saga, you need a skill requirement, and they are 30 attack, 30 range, 30 magic, and 8 dungeoneering. With the bear skin and those stats in hand, you can start this quest by speaking to Skaldron, located just west of the dungeoneering token NPC. So once you're here, go ahead and speak to Skaldron, and simply start the saga Three's Company. So upon starting the saga, you will randomly appear in a dungeon, and you'll be in control of Sir Owen, Ozan, and Ariana. You will be controlling all three of these, although the AI does take control of 2 for a period of time whilst you're using the other. If you need to switch at any time, you can click on the portraits at the top left of the screen. So, with that said, let's get started. First things first, with Sir Ozan, go ahead and pick up a dust eel. Then switch to Ozan, and pick up another dust eel. Finally, switch to Ariana and pick up the last 2 dust eels with her. Every time you switch to Ariana, keep in mind that you do need to activate a spell as autocast. Once you're ready, and you've picked up all your dust eels, head south to the next room. Inside there will be a few enemies to kill. I recommend using Ariana as she simply seems to one-shot these most of the time. So go ahead and kill all the enemies. So once they're dead, you now need to pick up the gold charm, the 2 home crabs, and I'd also recommend picking up the dust eel. You need the gold charm and the 2 home crabs for one of the sub-quests. Do not eat the home crabs under any circumstance, otherwise you will have to start this entire saga again. Carry on through to the south door, and in this room you will find an ice puzzle. You will need to switch to Ozan to complete it. Now, this room is actually randomized to every single player, so the switches will be in different places, so I am going to speed this part up. This is the only part of the quest that I have sped up though. All you need to do is simply mess about in the ice room until you've activated all of the switches. As soon as you've done that, you will then unlock the door, at which point you want to stay as Ozan and head over to the other side and head on through the door. In the next room there's a few enemies you will either need to use Ozan or Ariana for. I would recommend using Ariana, so I will be switching to her, and simply kill these 3 enemies, or 4 enemies. It's very simple, you can one-shot them all pretty much without any problems whatsoever. Carry on through to the next room. In this room will be a room crafting puzzle. I'm sure if you've done any kind of dungeoneering, you've probably come across this already. It's very straightforward. Just turn them all to one colour. And if you've only got 1 or 2 left, you can right click force. It doesn't actually take all that much HP from whoever is forcing it, or Ariana in this case. She doesn't actually lose a lot for forcing these tiles, so I would recommend doing it if you've only got a few left. As soon as you've turned all the tiles a certain colour, head into the next room. Inside this room you'll find a key right at the back. Go ahead and grab it. With the key in hand, head back to the runecrafting room. And then back into the room you just killed a few enemies. In this room you will find a summoning obelisk. With Ariana selected, go ahead and click on the obelisk itself. choose to summon something, say yes, run through the text, and that is one of the subquests complete. Head back into the ice room. You will need to switch to Ozan to get across. Once you're inside this room, you now want to switch to Sir Owen. On the west side of this room you'll find a bunch of rocks. Go ahead and examine them with Sir Owen and he will receive some ore. Once you've done that, I advise switching back to Ariana and carrying on north. With the green key in hand, you can now head east in this room. Head inside, tell Ozan to wait on one of the tiles, and then right click the other and tell Owen to wait at the other. Once you've done that, head on through the door and you'll be trapped inside. Now I've done this a few times and the puzzle seems to be the same, so once you're in, pick up the key in the corner and then right click on any of these podiums and get a premonition. So the code is red south once, blue west twice, green north once, green west once, yellow south once. As soon as you've done that, you will unlock the door and you can now escape. So head on back to where Owen and Ozan are, and you will need to right click and call them. Once you've done that, head west a room, and with the red key in hand you can now head north. Head through the northern door. Once inside, kill the enemies. And if you need it, you can pick up the food. You do need to kill all these enemies, mind, so make sure you do actually kill them instead of running through. Once you've killed them, head east and there will be a guard standing next to a door. Switch to Ozan and speak to this guard. So first you want to charm him. What are you guarding? Then a little redundant, option 2. Then who got you to guard this door, option 1. And why bother guarding it, option 2. And as soon as you've done those, the guard will stop guarding the door and will start to grow potatoes. I would recommend switching back to Ariana. And as soon as you do, head into the next room. So in this room you will need to switch to Owen, and he will pull the statues into place. It's a very simple puzzle, you've probably come across it. I'd highly recommend telling both Ariana and Ozan to wait so they don't get in your way, as that is very, very annoying. So simply push these statues to match the statues on the opposite side of the room. So finally, once all the statues are in place, you will unlock all of the doors inside the room. At which point you want to call Ariana and Ozan back to you and switch back to Ariana. Don't forget to turn the spell back on. First, you want to head through the room to your east. Inside here, you'll find a pickaxe at the back of the room. Make sure you pick it up. You want to head back out and into the statue room. Now you want to head through the northern door. Once here, switch to Ozan and head through the agility course. First, stepping over at the beginning, jumping past the saw blade, past the rocking hammer, avoiding the blades, and in the southeast corner of this room you will find a broken longsword on the floor. Make sure you investigate this. As soon as you have, it'll disappear, and you now want to make your way back to the entrance. Once you've done that, switch back to Ariana. And last but not least, head into the southern room. Once inside here, kill all of the enemies. Next, you want to head east a room. And right at the back you will find the final key for this dungeon. Additionally, you will also find pickup sticks sitting down in the corner inside this room on the northern side. Make sure you talk to pickup sticks and tell him to leave the dungeon. To do that, simply talk to him and then ask him if he can walk, and then tell him to leave. He will not leave straight away, but as soon as you leave the room, he'll start to move. So once you've told him to leave, head west a room, then north a room. At this point you should be back in a statue room. Then west a room, so you're in the room with the guard. And in the northwest corner of this room, you want to switch to Owen and mine the Zephyrium ore right in the corner. You will have to give him the pickaxe if you picked it up with either Ozan or Ariana. To do that, simply use the pickaxe on Owen. With the ore in hand, switch back to Ariana and re-equip your spell. Head west a room, and finally open up the northern door. As soon as you go to enter the next room, you will have this little cutscene here. The main things you need to complete, if you're not interested in the complete walkthrough and just want the quick tips, is for the subquest you need to investigate a large pile of rocks to obtain the ore. You need to pick up the sword in the agility room. You need to pick up the pickaxe and mine the rock in the guard room. And you also need the gold charm and the 2 Heim crabs to summon a Garajo. If you've done all of those, go into the boss room, finish them all off. It doesn't matter what options you choose at the end or in the talking sequences. And as soon as you've fully completed all of that, that is the saga 100% complete for you. All in all, not exactly hard. It will only take you about 15 minutes, give or take. Very straightforward. As soon as you've completed it, you'll reappear outside next to Skuldron. He will give you your reward, which, if you've done the 100%, you will gain the unabridged reward. There are 2 rewards from this you can actually gain. If you get anything less than 100%, you'll gain the abridged book, which when read gives 750 dungeoneering XP as well as 75 tokens. If you get 100% score, you will receive the unabridged book, which will give you 3,750 XP in attack, ranged, or magic. And that is it. That is the complete guide for the first Fremmy Saga, Three's Company, 100%. So with that said, I hope you've all enjoyed, found this guide useful, and you've now fully completed the first of many sagas. So until next time, people, I will catch you all later. The rest of the saga's coming soon.